One of the things that I'm most fascinated by in gaming is what we learn from games that is not being explicitly taught. So I'm not talking about an educational game like Putt Putt Goes to the Moon or Jumpstart Fifth Grade Math. I'm talking about the lessons we learn just from gaming, the little subtle life skills that are tucked away in the games themselves. Now, this is something in education we refer to as the hidden curriculum. It is the stuff that you are teaching your students that you're not even necessarily intentionally teaching your students. Now, here's the clearest example I can give you of it. There's a lot of videos online of people talking about how Dark Souls changed them or how those incredibly difficult games changed their life by giving them something that they were going to stick to, that they were going to fight through, that they were going to go over and over and over and keep coming back and not give up. That's sort of a hidden curriculum. It's not that hidden, right? You can look at it, you can play Dark Souls, and you can go, man, this game wants to torture me. This game wants me to go through this incredibly difficult thing. But on its face, no, it doesn't. It wants you to beat these enemies. The lesson that is being explicitly taught to you is beat these enemies, get through this thing, right? They're going, here's how you move a sword. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. And you're figuring it out. And the hidden curriculum, the thing that you were learning in the background, is I can figure this out. Here is how I stick through a difficult challenge, and I can stick through something incredibly tough, even if it's kind of pointless and absurdly challenging, just because I want to take on the challenge. And it depends on how much you pay attention to your own internal state, but you may take away the lesson of wait, I love just being challenged. And that sort of thing is why I'm so fascinated by the hidden curriculum of games, the little things they secretly teach us, right? Because they can have a huge impact on your life, and they don't have to be preachy about it. They don't have to do some whole weird thing about it. No, they just have to say, hey, here's a thing that you got to deal with in life. How are you going to deal with it in a game? And the part of this that I want to explore today is patience and how games teach us lessons about patience. There will be aspects of this episode that make it sound like I think that games are bad. That is not the case. But I'm going to explore all angles of this. Do games sometimes make us become less patient? Do games teach us to be more patient? Does this matter? Does this make a game good or bad? No. I'll answer that right up front. A game is a game. I'm just fascinated by the things that they sometimes teach us. And the hidden curriculum, by the way, is not going to be the same for everybody who plays the game. People will get different things from it depending on where they are in life. Some people will get a completely different lesson than some other people. And I don't think you have to design around this, but what I am very interested in is how it has impacted me, how it might have impacted you, and how it currently appears to me, right? If I look out on the landscape of gaming, what is the relationship between patience and video games? This is Game, Develop, Repeat. I'm your host, Chris, and thank you for joining me. I have a question for you, if you'll indulge me for a moment. What does it mean to you if somebody says the phrase, just be patient? Now, it's context dependent. I understand there's subtlety to this. It's not always going to mean the same thing, but just instinctively, somebody says, just be patient. What are they trying to get you to do? My feeling is that they're saying, wait. But I think the phrase be patient has a very different meaning than just waiting. Patience is not just the act of sitting still and doing nothing. And I think games teach, when they teach patience, games teach a very specific kind of patience. They teach the patience of continued effort over a long period of time, whether or not you're getting a big payoff. Now, this may sound a little counterintuitive because games have a reputation for impatience, for quick rewards, for rewards that are happening much faster than they would in real life, for level ups, for bright colors, loud, positive noises, flashing lights on the screen. They're almost slot machines sometimes. You level up, you get rewarded. You level up, you get rewarded. And at the beginning of an RPG, you're leveling up every other minute, right? So there's a reputation, somewhat earned, somewhat deserved, of impatience in gaming. But as you get deeper into a longer game, as you get further along in those RPGs, you get to a point where you are spending hours and hours and hours for that level up. You are spending a lot of effort to get to that same reward that you used to get very easily. Or you're playing a large scale turn-based game and you're putting a whole plan together and trying to see it all come together. And you've got to be patient. Maybe you're luring your opponent into a trap. Maybe you're building your armies, collecting resources. Whatever you're doing, there is a degree of patience in it. Now, does it require less patience than if you were building an actual army in real life and putting together this giant elaborate plan? Yes, of course, because we never do that in real life. But you're simulating something that would never happen to begin with, and you're learning a type of patience and planning that you wouldn't normally engage with. Now, I'm a little bit obsessed with how games depict skill development because they do accelerate it dramatically, right? When you're learning a skill in a game, it's happening very, very quickly. When you're learning a skill in real life, it takes a lot longer. But there's this similarity that I think is really important that games consistently teach us across the board. I see this everywhere. Beginning of the game, learn the skill very quickly, right? You rapidly make progress. You get level up after level up after level up. You get better and better and better. And then as you get deeper into the game, you get these extremely long spans of time between level ups, between new rewards. It takes a lot longer to get there. The rewards sometimes aren't even that great from level to level. And then sometimes you hit some milestones where suddenly, I can do all the things I wanted to do. I am incredibly powerful now. Here it is. Everything's coming together. All the pieces of the puzzle are here. And now my character has all of the skills that I wanted them to have, right? But it took you a lot longer to get there than it did to just get to a base level. And this mirrors skill development in real life. There's that beginner phase where you learn things very quickly. There's the much later phase where you have to find ways to be more efficient and learn. And you have to put in more sustained effort over a longer period of time. And the results look small. You get these teeny tiny little results. And then at some point, you go, oh my God, now I can do this thing that I've been wanting to do this entire time. That's kind of how it works. That's kind of how it works in reality. You learn a little bit about programming. You learn a little bit more. You learn these little bits and pieces. It gets harder and harder and harder and harder because you're learning all these little tiny details. And one day, all the little tiny details come together and you go, whoa, okay, hold on. I can make a game now? What's going on? Right? Or with drawing, you go, okay, I'm kind of learning how to draw a sphere, where the ears go on this face that I'm drawing that's based on a sphere. Where do I put the eyes? Where do I put this, that, the other? And you're messing with it, and you're messing with it, and you're messing with it. Spend a couple weeks. Now you can draw a face. Spend a couple months. At some point, you go, wait, I can draw an entire person. And then you start learning how to draw an environment and so on and so on and so on. And one day, everything clicks together. And then you can draw the whole thing that you wanted to put together, right? You can put everything together. But only because you had that first phase of incredibly fast progress, and you had that next phase of slow, diligent progress. And then one day you went, I want to focus on these skills and this skill and this skill. And just pick these little things in the skill tree to all piece it all together so that my character can do exactly what I want them to do. And I better pay attention because it takes a lot of effort to get to these last little bits of development. Now, it doesn't work exactly that way, of course, but I am very fascinated by it. So the question that I asked is, do games teach patience? And my answer is kind of. Yes, sometimes not at all. But when they do, they kind of teach it. They teach it in a way that I think is really cool and really useful. And I think fundamentally altered me as a child. I think it gave me some skills that I probably wouldn't have had otherwise. Who can know? But I'll run through that in a second. I think when they teach us patience, they teach us that you can go from zero to hero with continuous concerted effort, right? You can go from absolutely zero skills to being pretty good at something. They show this symbolically or through analogy, through the way that your character develops, and also through the way that you develop skills in the game, depending on the game, depending on the genre, so on and so on and so on. But you can play a game and you can develop skills through effort. And that is an extremely valuable life lesson. Now, is that the best way to learn that life lesson? Is that the most in-depth, complete, realistic way to learn that life lesson? No. But did it have a significant impact on me as a kid? Yes. I think playing games and going from zero to hero over and over and over and over, having zero skill and then becoming something, I think that taught me something or baked something into my brain on like a fundamental level of just I can get good at whatever I want to, right? Maybe not the best, but it taught me that I can just, and maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe I learned this from somewhere else, but I suspect that it helped me learn that I can just get good at things. I can figure it out. I can go from nothing to something, from something to really good. And this lesson was reinforced in real life through creating things, and I don't think that games are the best way to learn this lesson, but I think that they're a valuable thing. They are a valuable way to learn how to get better at something. There's a accelerated pace there that's really weird. And I don't think that if you're going, "Oh, I want to learn to be more patient," I don't think the solution is to play a bunch of games. I think the solution is to create stuff and to work on a hard skill over a long period of time. I'm not talking about this to offer a solution or offer a way to learn a lesson. I'm talking about this to offer perspective on lessons that you've probably already learned, right? Now, here's a weird one. I'm not going to go into this today, but if that lesson got like baked into me, if I'm right about my theory that playing games this much as a kid baked this idea of, oh, I can just keep working on something and I'll get somewhere eventually and be good at it. What other stuff did I learn? Like, what bad lessons are baked into me, you know? Because there's got to be something. It's not all positive. There's got to be some stuff in there that's like, oh, that's kind of bad. I do think relevant to this topic, actually, I will throw this out there. I think one bad side of this, even when games teach it well, when games teach you, yeah, be patient in terms of like continue putting forth effort and you will eventually get there. Cool. I think there is an aspect of banging your head against a wall and not thinking through what you're doing, depending on the games that you're playing, right? There are some times when a game gives you the message of just do this repetitive action and you will get better. That's not true. And I actually will address this really quickly. In music, I often had the problem of, oh, I'll just repeat stuff until I get better, right? And that is a part of the process, is repetition. But there's a phrase in the music education world, which you have undoubtedly heard. This is everywhere. It's not just in music ed. I don't know where it started and where it leaks out from and whatever. My feeling is that it leaks out from the music education world into the rest of the world. But I think it's a very common phrase, which is practice makes perfect. Everybody says practice makes perfect. That's not true. This is a thing every music teacher will rally against this. Not every one of us. Some people still say it, but a lot of music teachers will say no. No, practice does not make perfect. Practice, the closest they'll get is practice makes permanent, but doesn't make perfect, which also is not true. That's also nonsense. But there's this feeling that repetition is all you need to get really good, and it's not true. You need focused attention. You need to notice. You need to run micro experiments. You need to go, what if I change this? How will that affect this? If I change this, is this right? If I change this, does that improve? What happens when I change this factor? How do I get better? And you need to run these experiments. And yes, you can do repetition to kind of solidify your muscle memory, but just the act of repetition is not enough. The amount of, the number of people who just go in a practice room and just repeat, and then go, why am I not making any progress? Because you're turning off your brain. And I do think to some extent, games lets you go, oh, I'll get better if I just turn off my brain and do this thing over and over and over again. And it's easy to go, yeah, well, that's not, people aren't learning that lesson from games. But I think we are. I think as much as I absolutely love games, I think that that is a lesson that games teach that is incorrect. And I'm not saying that that matters or like makes games bad, but I think it's interesting to notice. I think that there is a thing in games which is just keep repeating this action and you will get better, and that's not how things work. While it's stating the obvious, it is nice to look at the digital world that we spend so much time in and consciously go, that's not how reality works. Just to remember it, so that if you're going about your day and you go, oh, that's weird, I'm doing this thing. Oh, that's how it would work in a video game, but that's not how reality works. Because, and this is what's really fascinating, it's not like that comes from video games. That was designed into a game, I think probably because somebody went, this is kind of how reality works. It's like an easy trap to fall into, right? Like we design stuff in games that emulates reality. So a lot of the time, we'll kind of put something in a game because we're like, yeah, that's kind of how we think about it working. And then you can look at it and you can go, wait, is that how people think the real world works? It might be. There's like little hints of truth about how people perceive reality in the design of simulations of reality. But now I'm cutting too deep into this. We're going to go into the development portion of things, and I am going to rip into something because I'm passionate about this and I want to talk about it. Instead of playing games to learn how to patiently build a skill, we're going to talk about what I think is the best way to develop patience in learning a skill. The best way to become a patient, kind of diligently working, creative person. And spoiler, it's to diligently create things. But we're going to dive deep into it. I'm going to go on a bit of a rant. I think that one of the best ways to learn patience, effortful patience, not just sit and wait, but work towards a goal and eventually get there patience, is to create things. And my proposal to you here is that if you work on something that you enjoy, it will be rewarding enough at the beginning that you will get invested and you will continue working on it as it gets a little bit more challenging. Now, you'll need to take some steps. You'll need to record your progress a little bit so that you can see how far you've come, and you will need to just accept that it's not going to be as quick as you want it to be. But it's actually going pretty quickly. That's the other aspect of this. I have been working on drawing. The progress that I've made in like a week and a half, 2 weeks, has been pretty good. If I look at my most recent drawings, I go, wow, that's terrible. Because it's pretty bad. But if I look at it compared to my first drawings, I go, okay, I've made a lot of progress. Right? There's a lot of progress going on here. But I'm not feeling patient about it. I don't see the progress. And here's the aspect of this. Patience is surprisingly tricky to me. I think there's a lot of subtlety to this extremely simple concept. And that's what I want to convey to you right now. There's the aspect of patience that is just wait. Just be patient. Just wait, right? And then there's the aspect that is, I'm working towards this thing. How could I possibly just wait while I'm working towards this thing? I have to put in effort. I have to work towards it. That's not the part you're just waiting on. You're putting in effort. You're noticing. You're paying attention. You're seeing all the small details. You're just waiting on you noticing the results. You are probably already getting the results. They're probably already there. You are waiting to notice them. And you're waiting to believe that they're there. You're waiting to get to a point where you can see the results. It's like when people lose weight. They lose 5 pounds, they don't even see it. They lose 15, they see it, and they go, oh, there it is, right? There is this moment where you notice the results. You've been making progress the entire time, and then you go, oh, there it is. That's the drawing I've been trying to make. but you're focused on what you're trying to make, and the results, they can kind of pass you by. So it's nice to record things and look back at it and see the results to kind of keep you motivated. It's a good trick. It's actually way more useful than even I give it credit for. It is so easy to not do, because recording things is like just enough of a hassle to where you go, I don't want to record my results and look back on it, and it's so bad and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't need a recording of me sucking at this thing. You do, though, because then you're going to look at it and you're going to go, oh my God, I got so much better, right? Now, I got to go on my rant. This is burning inside of me. I have to let this out, okay? This is one of the most rewarding things a person can do, in my mind. Maybe this is just me, but one of the most rewarding things you can do is learn to create things. I love it. I mean, obviously, I've got a pretty heavy bias towards this, but if you can learn a skill, it doesn't have to be creating things. It can be a sport. It can be whatever the heck you want it to be. But if you get better at something that you used to be terrible at, oh my God, it's a beautiful thing, all right? And you have probably run into this conversation that happens. If you have drawn anything, if you've written a story, if you have created music, if you've done any of these skills that people say, and there's so many categories of this, but anything where if you say that you do it and then somebody responds with, I wish I could do that, but I just don't have the talent for it. If you've had that conversation, I hope that you can understand where I'm coming from on this rant, because I'm so deeply frustrated by that mindset. It's painful to witness for me. I get very frustrated. It's a me thing, right? It's not actually about that other person, blah, 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 blah. But God, it gets upsetting. When I say to somebody, oh, I played music, I did this, I composed a little bit, whatever, right? They're like, oh, what do you play? Thank God I play a boring instrument, first off. Oh my God. Hallelujah. Somebody asks me, what instrument do you play? I say euphonium. They lose all interest. I see the light exit their eyes. And then I don't have to have the conversation where they go, oh, I wish I could play. If I played guitar or piano, I would be running through the streets screaming at people. I would be so mad. I would just be in a rage every day, which I already am anyways. I don't need that in my life. But thank God I play euphonium. So I say, oh, they're like, oh, what do you play? I'm like, oh, I play euphonium. And they go, oh, okay, what's that? And I go, oh, thank God. Anytime that I've said, oh, I play a little bit of piano, they're like, oh, I wish I played piano. I'm like, oh, Jesus, not this. And they're like, oh, I just can't. I just don't have the chops for it. I just can't do it. I just don't have musical talent. Every time that somebody says I just don't have musical talent, and I know that artists have this same thing, and I've probably said it to an artist before. I've probably said to an artist, oh, I just can't draw. And they probably wanted to slap me across the face and yell in my face, right? They probably just wanted to grab my head and just start screaming directly in my eyes and just being like, you stupid idiot. You can just put in the effort. You suck so much. Shut up. Stop saying that, right? Like, I'm sure I've made somebody feel that way. I think now you might know how I feel when somebody says they can't play music. When somebody's like, I just can't learn music. There's no way I could do it. I'm like, you can. You can. It takes years of effort, but you can. I'm sorry, but you just don't want to do it. You don't want to do it, or you're not willing, or you're being a coward. If you don't want to do it, it's fine. But don't say that you want to do it. I wish I could, but I can't. No. I'm so mad about this. I think I get so angry, dude. It is on some level. I'm trying to pull this back a little bit, because on some level, my passion in life is trying to convince people to explore these things that they think they can't do. Trying to convince people who want to write music, who want to create art, who want to create games, trying to convince them to just try it. And I don't mean for one day. I mean for like a week, for 2 weeks. Give it a real try. Give it a semester. See if you actually like it. Give it some time. Really try it. That is like if I had to pick a thing to dedicate my life to, right? Getting other people to try making stuff, to try expressing themselves creatively, to dig in, to sink their teeth in and friggin' explore and find out what it is in them that they want out. Find out why there's this little voice in the back of your head that says, I would love to play music, but I just can't. What is the I would love to part of that? I know what the I just can't part is. It's you being a little wuss. I'm sorry. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But I know what the I just can't part is. It's a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of nonsense. Maybe you're busy. Fine. Whatever. But don't give it to me that way. God, it's frustrating. But what is the part of you that is saying, I wish that I could? Is it just, playing piano seems kind of cool. Women like guys who play piano. I don't think that's what it is. There's this little thing deep inside of you that is saying, there is something that I want to express. There is something I can't say in words. There is something about a piano and somebody playing it that makes me feel something, that connects with a deep part of me. And I go, I want to express that part of myself. And nothing in my day-to-day life lets me get it out, right? There's something in you that you want to share, that you cannot communicate. You don't have a way to tell anyone what you're feeling. It's in there and it wants out. You want to show people your perspective. You want to show people what you see in the world, right? You want to draw because you want to understand the world around you in a different way. And you want to show people how you understand it. And there's stuff in you that you want to get out. Right? There's something. Maybe it's not that. Maybe that's not what the angle is, but why do you want to do that? There's this little quiet little voice that's like, I want to do this thing. I want to create stuff. And you're just lying to yourself. I hate it. It drives me insane. And I don't hate the people who are doing it. It's not that. I hate that people are being trapped in this. I hate that there is so much passion and love and joy and excitement and childhood wonder tucked away in these people. And they go, oh, I just don't have the talent for it. Because what? Because you're scared that you're going to be bad at it and someone's going to laugh at you. I'm going to lose my god dang mind. I am furious about this. I know this is not the topic of the episode, but I'm so upset. Just the amount of suffering that could be relieved. God dang it, dude. I just want people to explore that part of themselves. That's it. It's scary. I get it. It's terrifying. It's so scary to look at yourself and go, oh, there's this whole thing in me that I have no idea how to communicate. And it's going to take me years to develop the skills to communicate it, or this perspective and this oh God, it's tough, man. I'm out of words for this. I hope you understood that rant. Because it is so important to me. And if there's anything to take away from that, it's just please, for the love of God, don't run away from that. Don't be a coward about this. And to be clear, it's terrifying. It is scary. You are trying to express things that you don't even fully know that you're trying to express. And then you go and you pick up an instrument and you're just like, you're making horrific noises and you're like, that's not what's inside of me. You're trying to draw something and it's hideous. You're trying to write a story and it makes no sense. I get it. But just have fun with it instead. Just don't try to express that deep, profound thing. try to build a skill instead. You're learning language, you're babbling, you're doing whatever it is that you need to do to just start expressing that thing, to start exploring whatever that thing is in you that says, I wish I could play music. Maybe that thing is just fun. Maybe you're just trying to have some fun. Then do it. Something in you is craving that fun. Something in you is saying, I need this in my life. Or at least I want to explore it. Why would you not? Why would you? I know some reasons why, but like, just explore it. It's so worth it. I'm preaching to the choir, I bet. I think every one of you is probably just going, yeah, of course. But just, come on, man. It drives me crazy. I want to know how to get more people on this boat with me, you know? I want people expressing their weird creative ideas. And for the record, I'm making it sound way deeper than it is. Sometimes it's not that deep. Sometimes it's, dude, this idea would be so funny. Sometimes it's, dude, this idea for this little character design I have would be like really cute and ugly at the same time, and that seems really fun. Right? This song that I want to make would be hideous sounding, but like a little bit catchy, and that seems fun to me. Or like whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be that serious. Just have fun with it. That's why I always say that at the end of the episode. I know I do this every time. I'm always like, get out there, make some stuff, and have fun with it. I mean it. I don't. It's not like, it's not just a catchy little whatever, right? One of my goals in life is to help incentivize people to make stuff. Whatever your reason for making stuff is, right? Because I think that exploration, if it's done in this like deep, honest way, if you're exploring whatever is fun to you, if you're exploring whatever is interesting, whatever it is that's deep inside of you that you just need to like get out, whatever element of you wants to be expressed in whatever way, whether that be a story, a film, a video game mechanic, right? The design for a game engine, even. Just something like maybe you're just passionate about precision and you want efficiency and all this. Fine. Our brains can work differently. I'm very deep down the side of emotional communication. I really, really profoundly want to communicate emotional experiences to other people to the extent that words do not cut it. It drives me insane. I really want to express to other people the experiences that I've had, the way that they have felt, the people that I've interacted with, the way that those people have interacted or have impacted me, the subtlety of how I view behaviors that are coming from other people, the perceptions that I have, and I really want to communicate that stuff to people, because then I want them to say to me, oh, you perceive that way? That's weird. And then they'll say, oh, this is what I saw, or this is what I thought you were saying to me. And I'll go, oh, that's really interesting too, right? I think that's fascinating. And I just want to get that stuff out into the world, and I want to explore that, and I want other people to do it too. And maybe that's not your angle. Maybe your angle is completely different. But whatever your angle is, I also know that there's a fundamental, cool thing that you get out of creating stuff. It doesn't have to be the emotional exploration stuff. It doesn't have to be the goofy stuff. It can just be the precision. It can just be whatever thing it is that you want to create. There's still this sensation of, I made a thing. And there's this process that you go through. No matter what it is that you're making, there's a process that you go through that changes you a little bit. And I think generally changes you for the better. And that is why I'm so incredibly interested in creativity, in making things. Every single category of making things is fascinating to me. Am I going to engage with all of them? No. But God, I want the people who are interested in them to engage with them. That is so important to me.
I've only got one question for you this week, and it is, what are you going to make this week? Is it going to be a drawing? Is it going to be an outline for a game's design? Is it going to be a little dialogue between two characters? Is it going to be a journal entry for a character? Is it going to be writing? Is it going to be music? Maybe you're just going to write a little 5-minute tune. 5-second tune. 5-minute tune. Good Lord, people. Relax. You don't need to do that. Maybe you just write a little 10-second little ditty, little melody, right? Pluck away at some keys on a piano. What are you going to make? Because look, you might, okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. There might be a part of you going, I don't have time to make something this week. You do, though. You do. You can sing a ditty to yourself on the drive home. Improvise something. You can, 5 minutes before bed, you can just draw something. And if you're worried that you're going to go, 5 minutes isn't enough time to draw, well, that's probably because you like drawing so much that you're going to start drawing and you're going to get sucked into it. Or you're too paralyzed by fear to draw something. You can take 5 minutes, draw a circle, put a couple eyes on it, put a little smiley, you know. You can write 5 lines of dialogue. You can do something. Create something. Just explore it a little bit, right? Anyway, I'm running the risk of telling people to create stuff so aggressively that they go, you know what? On second thought, no, I'm not going to. Now that you've told me to, I don't think I will. Stop bossing me around. This is not a command, it's an invitation. I would love for you to create stuff, and I would love for you to share it with me. I want to know what you're passionate about, because I'm sharing what I'm passionate about every week, right? Oh, and what I'm going to make this week. I'm sorry. What am I doing? I'm saying all this. I'm not telling you what I'm going to make this week. I'm going to do either some character sketches as an art-wise, like I'm going to try to sketch some faces for some characters that I would like to make, or I'm going to do some, how do I say this, like monologue, internal dialogue stuff for some characters, like write out their internal dialogue and see how their brains work. I'm going to play with one of those two things. You know what? Let's wrap this episode. That is everything I have for you this week. Thank you for joining me as I go on a passionate rant, a bit of a rampage this week. And I'll see you next week, right? As always, get out there, make some stuff, and have fun with it. You know what? I had fun with this one. This was a good one. I enjoyed this one. All right. Have a good one.